Evening guys, welcome to another video. We're recording off the iMac this time. It's the first time I'm recording off the iMac. I wonder if it's bright enough. There you go. And sort of half-made bed feature, maybe a new feature in the videos, maybe a side character, maybe an ARG going on, maybe. But yeah, all's going good. Funny enough, I've just sold some of the decals that I'm making. Someone just bought a big batch of them, and I'm like, so it kind of shows, like, if you think an idea is good, someone else will as well. I'm really happy with them. I think they're fairly priced, and you're going to see from the shorts what I've sold, and there's another video on the shorts that's going to say about postage overages and generic postage. I've got, if you're ever worried, just message me and I'll just make it very clear that if there is overcharge on the shipping, because you've got to say it's this much, because I've had it before where someone orders a big item with a small item and the postage extras is the same, and where I can just put the small thing with the big item. So, but you've got to cover these awkward orders. So I've been burnt by it before, so it does happen. I understand that might put off people, but I just I might just do a little like a monthly thing, a reminder saying, like, message me if you're unsure. You have my word. I'll have put it in writing. That you'll get a postage overage refund. Yeah, that's quite exciting. I'm genuinely like, I was meant to do a video earlier at the studio, but I was there quite late. It gets a bit spooky as well. And I'm like, it's an old building, and I'm thinking, it's making noises. I'm going to get out of here sharpish. Plus, I'm looking after my neighbour's cat, so I had to go back. It's been a lovely day, and I just went there to do a couple of hours of work, and I thought to myself, I'll go to the studio. It's a nice environment to be in. Printers rolling, and laptop needs an update. It's always the way, isn't it? It's always the way. So I'm sitting there for an hour waiting for the laptop to update. It updates, and now it's super slow. I can't even put a bit of software on it. Maybe it's just warming up to the new software. I don't know, or maybe it's having a bad day today. But that the MacBook Pro is, I'm quite surprised about how clunky it is now. So sorry, I'm looking down because let me put the viewer up by the camera, so I have to look up to it. Let's look at my glass stuff. But yeah, I'm going to Poland on Tuesday, so I'm going to shut down the shop for 3 days. I am going to Poland for longer, but I'll reopen the shop 2 days before I come home, so I have enough time to deliver things. If people order on day one when I'm out in Poland, I'm going to get Etsy telling me off, so that, late shippage and such. So going over to Poland for the wedding. The wedding I've spoken about before, but it's going to be over and done with. Now I've got the stickers that I made, the bride and groom, and the sticker sheets. I don't really know how to sell them, so do I just sell them as like, that's what you get, and I'll put as many cuts of stickers in that space. Bear in mind that there's got to be a certain gap between them and stuff, but I don't really know how to quote that. And that'd be fine if you get them in volume, but if you do them for, like, I don't know, I'd have to do them like 50 a go or something like that. Sticker sheet. Yeah, it's doable. I don't see why not. But then there's artworking as well, because I've got to add a white border or a very, very, light colour that doesn't want to. And I'd probably do it not laminated either. I need to look at some new blades for the Roland. I'm noticing the blades I've got don't last very long. I'm going to try the 60-degree blades out soon. And I've got all these videos that I often think of these brilliant ideas for videos when I'm riding my motorbike, I love riding my motorbike at the moment. You know, summer I've got some new trousers for my motorbike, and I think riding my motorbike is sort of like, it gives me a small semblance of like freedom. And I think, you know, that's what I'm working towards having. I'll never stop working. I just don't think there's, you know, whether I'm working on myself or working for, you know, building something bigger than me, you know, this might all start off as printing and a bit of design work, but I do want to take it further. You know, having a nice chunk of change and having a nice slice of the market. I'd love to. I don't think once the ball starts rolling, I don't think it's going to stop. You know, they say some people will be happily stop at like a nice, you know, medium-sized business. I don't see why you wouldn't take it further. Well, actually, I do see why. People say like, you know, it takes them away from their family and stuff, but I want to bring family and friends with me anyway. Maybe I'll get a bit in there. Maybe that's a famous last words there. I've heard people, you know, mixing business and leisure and stuff, but you know, I can definitely, if not work for me, I can help people build their businesses. And you know, I've made a lot of mistakes. I've had the business before which was actually thriving, and I've had to sort of rebuild again. And I'm looking at my desktop now. There's like a lot of stuff on the right is sort of passion projects. Stuff on the left is listings and things to do and all sorts. And it's so like, I'm a bit of a Patrick Starfish with all this stuff. Like I get annoyed by it, but it doesn't stress me out. All of this stuff is going to be online. Oh yeah, no, look, I've got the decal. I know these sell now, so I've got the Ace of Spades there, Motorhead, you know, and I think clubs is going to be the Jack of Clubs. They're really cool. I really like them, and you know, I'll take out the little indicator there. That's just for me to cut. But obviously, if you bump it up to the corner, you'll have the right measurement. I think it's 15 mil. I bet you people will message me asking for different sizes and such, but I'm not sure if you know, I just have to charge a bit more for material and time. You know, I was thinking the other day as well. Like I said to the mate at the studio that I'm sharing the studio with, matey at the studio, my friend at the studio who I'm sharing with. And maybe there's another video where I go and talk about that shared space and, you know, how grateful I am for it. And I was talking about him, and I said, like, I come into the studio and I'm just reducing the size of one of the sticker packs by 70%, and I'm charging the same. So I was like, it's a loss leader. Like, by doing a bit of artworking, I've already lost. And he was like, well, just say no. And I'm like, yeah, you can do that. And it's not necessarily the fact that you get sales, and you know, someone might give you a review, which the reviews are huge, by the way. Yeah, thank you if you've ever given me a review. Like, if it's bad, and I've had people say to me, "Oh, it was the wrong size; it didn't fit," but the sizes are clearly on the listing, so that's not really my fault, is it? So I will, like, passively aggressively reply to that publicly, and be like, you know, no one else had a problem with this, So yeah, we were talking, and I was thinking, it's a loss leader, and I was thinking, you know what, a lot of the items I do are loss leaders at the moment. I do want to pump it up a bit. I'm not making a million trillion pounds. I'll tell you what, actually, I would love a studio where it's sort of like a creative hub for me. So I'll have, like, you know, a latex printer, a plotter, a laminator, you know, a bit of a flatbed action going on, you know, a cut and crease. I'd love all this stuff where I could just have it all in one place. Heat presses for clothing, and such. So I'd love, like, a creative space where I could just go and, you know, have a desk and and work. And I'll have guitars scattered about, and we can just play music and such, and have a little jam. I how like one of my think out loud ideas. You know how people don't like pay for like a gym membership. Well, if you take the library, which is free, if you took it up a notch and had access to equipment, you could have like a shared studio space. People are always like, they either have to buy something that's oversized, which they don't need, or something like a shed. I heard people that had storage and it was an old toilet. So the urinals on the wall, and that's where they stored their artwork. So it was cheap, but like pretty damp and stuff. So my little idea was to have like a studio space where you pay like a monthly subscription, you book in the time that you need, and there is all the equipment there. There's large format printers, probably like a little tuck shop that sells like stationery and such, and a coffee machine and stuff, and people can go just like sort of hang out and do some work. Spread out, a bit of elbow room. Like one thing I miss about university is how much elbow room we had. Like there was a studio and we'd all just have a table. If you're doing an animation, you can just spread out, I don't think I've ever had that space again. Well, I have it now in the studio, so I do have that elbow room in the evenings for sure. Wouldn't have it in the day, so like a gym membership, but for like an open studio space. You book your time in. Don't nick my ideas, someone's going to nick this. I'll franchise it so you can buy all the formula, and there'll be plotters there and stuff, and then the people will get like badges where they've been trained on the machines. So you can either go there for a workspace and just bring your laptop and bring your sketchbook and just listen to your music and have a coffee and talk to other creatives, or you can learn how to use the the RIP software and the printers and such, and you'll get trained up on it, and each person will have like a tick against their membership, like a driving license, or you can use the flatbed, or you can use this. I'm thinking that saying it out loud, they might damage the printer, but perhaps if someone's there like looking after the place, like, do you need a hand with the flatbed? Or they're there to kind of direct people if they haven't used it for a while, maybe just a bit of a direction there, or that person does it for them and sets up they put the file in, they've got to use the software, but maybe the hardware, the guy does it just so there's no like head crashing or anything, and then you just charge per material. There's no, like, you could argue there's no labor involved. So like, oh, what's that? You printed off 50 stickers but used a meter or two of vinyl. Oh, we're just gonna mark up the vinyl 20%, whereas usually you want to, if you're doing a job, you would mark up a job 900%. In the food industry, if you're buying a burger for a quid, you need to sell it for 5 or 6 quid. You need to make £600, 600% profit on it. So, in vinyl, I think it's 900%. A minimum. Like, what I mean? I think that's just print. So if I'm cutting it or application tape or laminating it, that's different. That is different. So there's a nice margin on it. So, if I just say, look, oh, you printed on it, you know how to cut the machine, and you bring it over to me. So that's my print and cut. Maybe there's some storage as well. I've gone off on one now. But yeah, all's good. Little catch-up video. I was going to do a video about AI actually. So next video, hey, I'm in Poland on Tuesday. So if I don't see you, thank you very much. 78 subscribers again. Little old me. I'm going to a wedding. I just tried on the suits and I've put on some weight. I think it is muscle. Look, I am getting stronger, but it's a weird number that I'm at. I'm at 15 stone. And when I was fat, I was 15 stone, and I'm not fat. I'm at 15 stone, so it's kind of like a mind It's messing with my mind a bit. But I'm definitely a thicker boy, if you know what I mean, like a chonky monkey. But all's good otherwise. Things are moving on. Things are, yeah, it's good. It's a good time. Good, mind, body, and spirit. I think I'm quite good at sort of keeping it all. I don't know what I'm saying. Thanks for subscribing, guys. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. I'll be probably posting videos of me in Poland on the shorts, so if you do subscribe, you'll be seeing all that. And obviously drinking vodka for the culture. Take it easy, guys. I'll speak to you soon.